Welcome to the 2025 OWASP Global AppSec Conference. We're here at the Marriott Marquis in Washington, D.C. I'm your host, Josh Marpet, and joining me for this interview is Ken Huang, CEO at Distributedapps.ai. Ken, welcome. Pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
So I've got some questions for you. You are a very prolific author. First off, how do you have time to write all these books?
Yeah, everyone asks me this question. So I think I'm a curiosity-driven person. Every morning I have to write something, even something is garbage. I still write something, yeah.
So every morning you write?
Yeah, the first thing before I'm doing
anything,
yeah. I have to write something.
Because I looked at the list of books and you've got like every year you've got one or two books at least.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to say yes.
I wish I had that amount of energy in me to do that in the morning, but I have two small children, so they can tend to swarm me in the morning.
Yeah, my kids are grow up, they have work, so I can understand.
Yeah, well, you knew when your kids were little, it was a lot harder to find time to write.
Yeah. I was trying to write. It's hard. Yes,
that's very hard.
Yes.
So, but you're at Distributedapps.ai. You're with the Cloud Security Alliance. You're working with OWASP. You're pretty much everywhere in the world of the compliance framework or the governance framework around AI. You have a hand in somewhere. Am I vaguely correct?
Yeah. So I focus more on the AI, Agentic AI, and some on the blockchain. It's more on the security side. So I have early involvement with both OWASP and Cloud Security Alliance long time ago. Like the early version of the I think AIVSS. I forgot the
AIVSS.
Yeah, AIVSS. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah. And also early days of CSA's Identity Access Management Framework. That was many years ago. But most recent involvement was because of Agentic AI.
Got it. Okay, so you've been focusing for at least the last few years. I saw that you did cryptocurrency and blockchain many years ago, but for the last few years you've been focusing on Agentic AI and the security around the Agentic AI. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I talk on Agentic AI quite a lot, and Agentic AI is something that is a big hot button issue for large firms and law firms and financial firms lately. Is it safe to deploy? And my answer is sometimes. And they go, what do you mean? And I go, well, it depends on how you built it. It depends on the constraints you wrap around it. It depends on a lot of different factors. How does a company take a lot of different factors and bring it down to something that is comfortable for them to determine if the risk is acceptable, if it's within their risk appetite? How do they do that?
Yeah, so I believe there is a risk management framework that we need to use, right? And NIST coming up with AICM. I think this is a very good framework.
I agree.
It's hard do you put this in use, right? So in the risk management framework, it has a govern, map, measure, and manage. Right. So in terms of govern, like who is responsible for what is the RACI model, how do you implement the responsibilities? Actually, with Cloud Security Alliance, we have this white paper. 3 white paper published last year, right? And in terms of map, when you say you deploy or implement agentic AI applications, what could potentially be the risk, right? And we actually have a framework called the MAESTRO framework. It's also within Cloud Security Alliance. And to actually go to each layer, we have a 7-layer reference architecture for agentic AI, from foundation model to data layer to eventually agentic ecosystem, like all the 7 layers, and map the risk for each layer.
Nice.
Right? And after that, that's the map. Then you have the measure. How do you measure the risk?
The test, evaluate, TEVE, I think it is?
Yes.
Test, evaluate, validate, and verify.
Yes, that's also needed, right? But we are more specific in terms of OWASP project. Doing that is through the AI vulnerability scoring system, or AIVSS. That was my today's talk, right? The AIVSS, why we need it, how we put it into the overall framework. That's is a measure, right? How, like if you deploy your agentic AI system, how do you measure the risk? And what are the core risk that you may face, and how do you measure it? That's the project is trying to do. And then you can manage like using the TEVV or this, right? The red teaming, validation, right? But in addition, all to that is really depends on the application's business scope. Like
yes.
if it's just a deep research, maybe you don't need all this, right? It's just do deep research, like lots of this tool, then your effort may be a little bit in terms less, right? A little bit less in terms of risk management framework. But if you do the
customer data or
customer
PII
data,
or PHI,
yeah, exactly, then you need more.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about data classification of sorts. What level of criticality is the information and processes that this agentic AI is working with? If it's working with lunch menus, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's working with customer data, PII, PHI, then we need to expend the effort to do a proper risk evaluation and prioritization exercise. Am I hearing you properly?
Yeah, and also it depends on how much autonomy you give it to.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, good point.
If you have the tool, right, give it like MCP server, expose lots of tools, which tool you use, right? So this is all the goal that we try to measure, right?
I'm going to ask you a nasty one, okay? Are you familiar with the Eisenhower window or the Johari window paradigm? There's a 4-pane window. There's things you know, things you don't know, things you know you don't know, and things you don't know you don't know. You familiar with that?
Okay, you just told me. So okay, I know the Rumsfeld, like you have unknowns. Yeah.
The unknown unknowns.
Yeah.
So when you do these risk management exercises for an agentic AI program, you're assuming you know all 3 of those 4 panes. But what about, things you know, things you don't know, and things you know you don't know? What about the things you don't know? How many of those are going to trip up or cause major problems for agentic AI programs, pieces, whatever, because they don't realize there's something they literally just have no idea about?
Yeah.
How often do you find that?
Yeah, so the unknown piece is what give everyone like wake up in the middle of the night, right? So when you're trying to deploy the agentic AI application. So I think we do have some approach there, right? It's the MAESTRO framework. We're trying to map. Like the MAESTRO framework is not assume you already have all this risk. Like we have the core risk that we defined in the AIVSS document.
Right.
For tool misuse, the control, kind of access control violation to go manipulation, right? We have 10, but those are like wide research by industry. So that is most widely used. Like people find this is most possible. But what if there's other things? That's why we need to go through each layer trying to identify using the MAESTRO framework. And actually, we have open source tool. People can use it. And you can brainstorming with it and to find some of unknown. I do have to caveat that. That's not like cover everything, right? Still, you need brainstorming and you need to do a little bit more on that. But I think this is really good for people to get started with, is using MAESTRO and AIVSS, and also red teaming. We have the red teaming guide to do the testing validation.
Are all these resources in one place? Where do I get all these resources?
Oh, so yeah, this is all open source first, right?
Good.
So this is good, yeah. So one resource is in the Cloud Security Alliance, right? Or like you can just Google search Cloud Security Alliance MAESTRO, Cloud Security Alliance Red Teaming Guide for Agentic AI. You should find it. And then the AIVSS. This is AIVSS.OWASP.org.
Oh, nice. AIVSS.OWASP.org.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
So it's all there.
Good.
Right.
Okay, so we're talking about there's a lot of open source resources to help you understand the risks, to help you evaluate the risks, to help you measure the risks through all of these different processes that you just talked about.
Right.
Of an agentic AI system, resource, or whatever. How long does it take you to do this? Like, I'm going to deploy an agentic AI chatbot, whatever, to do this kind of thing. Okay, risk management, no problem. We'll be done in 6 months. Like, no, that's not going to work. How long does this kind of thing take?
So it really depends on what kind of project, right?
Oh, good. Okay.
Right. It's is your project small in scope, and also depends on how many people you want to deploy to. So it's the whole risk management. Yeah. So I would say like a decent size project was AIVSS measurement. It maybe take a month. OWASP maybe take another month. The MAESTRO framework take another month. But
that's a lot of time.
Yeah, I think I do need to slow down a little bit. Everyone is trying to push things too far. But again, if you just do a deep research, right, then it's okay. But you cannot trust.
Yeah.
You have to say caveat that this is a deep research project, and you have to validate the result, right?
And that's valid. You have to put a disclaimer on there to
Right.
say, hey, look, just be careful of the answers.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying, you said a couple of interesting things there. You said, yes, it may take a couple of months for a reasonably sized project, but that's a good thing because we need to slow down and take a very careful, close, slow look, not a slow look, but a measured look at these projects that are going out before they get deployed. And I like that because I see, how do we get AI out there now? Right. And it's like, slow down, you don't want it out there now, you know? You want to evaluate and understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, an important point. Would you agree?
Yeah, I certainly agree. And from another angle, it's really, we should not think this as a slowdown. We should look at it as an enabler, like enable your agentic AI deployment because of this process, right? Because people are thinking about if you really look at the enterprise, they want to deploy agentic AI applications.
Oh my God,
and
yes.
they reach out to the information security. Information security say no. Right? in some case, or right?
We're the people that say no. Yes.
Yeah, in most cases, say no. But that's is not the good way, right?
No.
The good way is really do the evaluation, the impact analysis, go through the threat modeling, right? Measurement, like all this, right? So it's thinking about it's actually enable because the whole thing we are talking about OWASP as well is the shift to left. In agentic AI, shift to left is most important. So there's two things most important for agentic AI. Shift to left is you're thinking ahead of what your application will be doing. True. And also zero trust. Because it has to touch each point. It's right. The model. Can you trust the model? Can you trust the MCP tools output? Can you trust your RAG pipeline? You're using retrieval augmented generation vector database.
Yep.
Can you really trust it, right? And can you actually trust other agent you're talking to? Because multiple agent system is a norm.
So you're saying we should put zero trust barriers or at every module of an agentic AI system?
Validation, yeah. It's I would say it's more like a zero trust validation, right? Not a barrier.
Well, it's
monitoring
an authentication barrier.
Yeah,
authentication barrier.
Yeah, or access control.
Access control barrier.
Yeah.
Okay, so interesting. So you've analogized the agentic AI security to both enablement of an agentic AI program, because we're not saying no, because we're the department that says no. I get it.
Right.
I get it. I get it.
Right.
But saying, hey, this is great that you finished it. We're now going to put it through our process to check the risks of the issue of this new process, of this new module, of this new application, and when we're done, we will then deploy it. You've also stated that this goes towards zero trust because every piece of this agentic AI, from the MCP server to the RAG pipeline to the vector database underlying the RAG, the agentic AI code itself, the model, everyone should have an authentication, validation, wall, barrier, monitoring, instrumented APIs, all that good stuff. And I think that's interesting. So you're saying this is an enabler process to measure risk, to model risk, to understand risk, using all of these tools. We're already doing zero trust. We should be, okay?
Yeah, but
now
not everyone even doing it for traditional, right? It's hard, yeah. But
we don't talk about that, you know?
Yeah, it's become imperative for agentic AI, right?
Really?
That's imperative because otherwise, how can you deploy the application if you
don't trust a component? How do you make sure that it's not going to poison something else?
Yeah, especially it has the autonomy, right?
Oh, good point.
Non-determinism. That's what is really important. it's agent. Agent means it has certain level of autonomy. If it does not have autonomy, it does not have agency, and it's not agent. So, and this agency is based on the model, reasoning capability, or chain of thought, right? Or what they call the react, the reasoning and the act behavior, right? So that is really important.
You know what? That's brilliant. If it's not autonomous, it's not Agentic AI.
Right.
Thank you, Ken, for joining me today. To find all of Cyber Risk Alliance's coverage of this event, please visit securityweekly.com/OWASP-AppSec. That's our last interview for 2025, but stay tuned. Up next, I'll recap highlights from our week here in DC. Ken, thank you again.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah,
absolute pleasure.
It's a good talk. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, good discussion. Thanks a lot.